A very good afternoon and thank you for joining us on the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja, the Unity Station. I am Ifoma Ojinta and we begin on a religious note. As this year's Ramadan fast begins, Al-Habibia Islamic Society is once again demonstrating the generosity of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, who enjoins Muslims to do more for the less privileged through its Ramadan food bank feeding program. Abdullahi Ajia reports.
With the Ramadan mood activated, acts of worship are heightened. And at the Al-Habibia Iftar feeding program, the organizers and managers have expressed commitment right from the day one of the Ramadan, feeding over 1,000 of fasting Muslims during Iftar on a daily basis.
One of the main ways of thanking Allah is to be generous, to be charitable to others. Ramadan's greatest lesson is actually in giving. We intend, by the special grace of Allah, to make this place a model for the Muslims without talking that you can actually take care of people and Allah will provide for you.
The organizers are also not unaware of the COVID-19 health protocol in the distribution and sharing of food to beneficiaries.
On the first day of Ramadan, the number is just about 60% of what we normally feed. So just we can see. And because of the COVID protocols and whatever, this year we have changed a number of things. We don't serve hot tea or porridge so that we can be able to serve people at the same time. We only give one whole meal and water, and that is it. You can see today it's faster than ever. Before now we used to spend about 30 minutes, but today we only spend about 15 minutes.
This charitable act of taking care of the needy by Al-Habibiyya feeding program, especially during Ramadan, beneficiaries commended, which they say is worthy of emulation by others, as the reward for such is with Allah. Abdullahi Ajia, NTA News.
Meanwhile, prices of various foodstuff and other essential commodities mostly used during Ramadan are on the increase, residents say. Aisha Bashir tells us more.
A close observation at the market visited indicates a rising cost of fruits, which are on high demand during the Ramadan fasting period, a development traders attributed to high cost of goods from suppliers.
Me, what the follow buy for the market, the price don't go up like that small. It be me as small like 15 naira for all. It's okay.
Je na shiga kasuwa na siyo kaya a normal price mai kyau. Yau ina zuwa kasuwa sai na ga yanda kika san kamar tashin kiyama. Komi ya tashi idan ka nemi sauki ma sai a ce ba anan ba. Abin sai ban mamaki.
Today is the one we can actually say how the market will be or what is going to happen. It can be in 2 hours time and then things started booming. We don't know. This is the market. We can't predict it.
Survey in Area 2 market showed that prices of grains such as rice, beans, guinea corn, amongst others, have skyrocketed. Also, perishable goods like tomatoes, onions and peppers have gone up, with a big basket of the commodity selling at a higher price.
I was actually surprised getting to the market today. Baskets of tomatoes and tatashe. Normally I would get tatashe for like 1.5 maximum. Today I was surprised. I was told it's 2,000. And tomatoes I was told that it's like 2,003.
The price on the high. Something never come down. Like others, something like red oil and other rice. And something others, egg, spaghetti, oil, you don't the high too much.
Traders are optimistic that the market will be better as the day goes by. Aisha Bashir, NTA News.
Streets parking, popularly known as Park and Pay policy, is to commence operation on 1st May 2021 in the nation's capital city. Acting Secretary Transportation Secretariat Usman Musa Yahaya made this known while briefing the media in Abuja. Shuaibu Noze Yakubu reports that health insurance for commercial drivers to mitigate losses.
To give the newly on-street parking management scheme legal backing, the FCT administration, in collaboration with an external council, has amended the parking section of the 2005 FCT Road Transport Regulations with a new law. The policy, according to the acting secretary, has now been gazetted.
With the new regulation, we are now ready to hit the streets. Let me at this point assure the public that the licensed operators who you will see on the street from 1st May 2021 are born again. All things have passed away and everything now is new. They will serve you well. We as the regulators will be on our toes to ensure that they operate according to the laid down rules and regulations.
It will be recalled that the on-street parking management scheme, popularly known as Park and Pay policy, was suspended on April 14, 2014, following a High Court ruling that declared the operation illegal for failure of the scheme not to be captured in the 2005 FCT Road Transport Regulations. Shuaibu Onozeyaku, NTA News.
In the meantime, to mitigate losses suffered and safeguard drivers against the risk of auto crashes, authorities of the FCT Health Insurance Scheme have introduced an insurance cover for drivers in Abuja to enhance their fortunes in the business, as Abetanemo Williams has more.
If you are a driver or motorbike rider exposed to the hazards on Nigerian roads while earning a living, the Abuja Drivers Riders Auto Crash Health Insurance Program, Abuja CHIP, is for you. According to the brains behind this initiative, it is geared towards providing quality healthcare services through a pool of funds.
The need to have a universal health coverage, meaning that all residents of FCT, regardless of what they do, regardless of where they stay, to have access to basic health care.
If you look at the majority of the populations of Nigeria, we find them in the informal sector. And transportation industry happens to fall largely under the informal sector. And so in order to bring in more people into the insurance scheme and then ensure that they have access to good and quality healthcare services.
I encourage everybody here to participate and then register. Because by the time you pay the 100 naira, you even know you are paying.
That is not all, as this opportunity gets better for subscribers, who also get to enjoy services from more than 200 hospitals within and outside the FCT, aside the flexible payment plan of 100 naira daily made available.
Our concern is our riders, because always we are getting some accident, sickness, this and this, and we are the one taking responsibility.
This initiative is very, very important, and we love it, because it's going to be controlled by the government.
Participants are urged to avail themselves the opportunity inherent in the FCT Health Insurance Scheme and get more people to enroll. As Abetanemo Williams, NTA News.
Still on health matters, Community Health Practitioners Registration Board of Nigeria has inducted community health officers with the aim of improving healthcare services in communities in Nigeria by regulating, teaching and practice of community health. Minister of State for Health, Dr. Adeleke Mamora, while presenting certificates of credence to the inductees, urged them to uphold the ethics of the profession. Sefia Norma Uche reports.
The Minister of State for Health, Senator Adeleke Mamora, urged the inductees to be aware of the enormous task ahead and called on them to work as a team.
Because you are very close to the community, you will have a better understanding of the culture, the belief and practices of the people. And all these affect their approach to their own health.
The Acting Registrar, Community Health Practitioners Board of Nigeria, Ajimi Kaka Mustafa, says the induction certifies them qualified and duly licensed to practice.
I urge you to handle whatever challenges that may come your way with honesty, courage, resilience. Always be an agent of possible change anywhere you find yourself.
Chairman Governing Board of the Health Practitioners Galadima Toma says community health has developed in leaps and bounds since its introduction in early 70s.
In 2020, community health officer examination, 579 candidates were registered, and 520 were successful.
A paper titled Evolution of Community Health Practitioners in Nigeria and Its Impact on National Health Development, presented by Bashir Umar, tasked the inductees to be competent, disciplined, and cautious in their profession.
Health personnel should possess knowledge and skills necessary to effectively work in the community to provide much needed services, including health education, nutrition services, immunization, and management of common diseases, among others.
I feel very happy because this is the day that we are expecting since.
Once they have the information, they are empowered.
The maiden edition of the induction, which had graduates drawn from 15 health institutions across the country, also encouraged the inductees to be diligent in their practice and use standing orders. Safia Norma Uche, NTA News.
And figures from the Nigeria Center for Disease Control, NCDC, as at 13th April 2021, indicates 11 new cases of COVID-19 in the FCT. Total number of confirmed cases, 19,738. Active cases, 489. Number of discharged cases, 19,084. And sadly, 165 deaths have been recorded in the FCT. You're watching the news at 1 on NTA Channel 5 Abuja. Let's take a break now. More reports when we return. Please stay with us.
Please cover your mouth with your bent elbow like this.
Auntie, cover my mouth for what? Corona don't go from Nigeria. I beg, Auntie, go disturb my life.
No. Coronavirus pandemic is not over. Don't relent in observing safety protocols and good hygiene. Frequent hand washing with soap and water for at least 20 seconds or use an alcohol-based hand sanitizer. Practice good respiratory etiquette, including covering your coughs and sneezes. Avoid close contact with a sick person. Cover your mouth and nose with a mask when around others. Clean and disinfect frequently touched surfaces.
You're absolutely right. Coronavirus is still with us.
Please, and remember, coronavirus pandemic is not over. Protect yourself and others to stay safe.
This message is brought to you by NTA Channel 5, Abuja, the Unity Station.
Thank you for staying tuned. Let's now turn our attention to security matters. The threat to security of lives of unsuspecting commuters in Lugbe by suspected criminals masquerading as commercial motorcycle operators have become a source of worry to residents who are calling on security authorities to address the challenge. Correspondent Ilyas Onotu Yakubu visited the area and brought back this report.
Residents of Lugbe said they have had to resort to self-help over the course of time to provide security in individual neighborhoods. Top on the security challenge stems from the activities of commercial motorcycle operators, who they allege have laid siege on unsuspecting residents for a while.
Sometimes you have a challenge that maybe you give them, they charge you 100 naira from there to somewhere, and you give them 500 naira and they are telling you they don't have change. Before you know it, maybe because of 10 naira or 20 naira, the violence, will come. Before you know what happened, they start pulling out some daggers and some strong weapons to scare you out and all that, which is...
the truth here is that most of the people that are doing that things, they are not an Okada. Because any person that starts work from morning to evening, he's supposed to get what he's supposed to get for that date. But those people that are doing that work, now they are abusing it. They just use motorcycle. That is why they are saying now Okada, they do that kind things. But I'm sure I say they are not an Okada.
By the directive of the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, commercial motorcycle operators are not allowed to do business anywhere in the territory. But the case in Lugbe is different. Not just that they operate, they've also been fingered in series of security challenges, such as members of the group walking around with weapons with which they readily attack unsuspecting residents here in this community. Similarly, occasional cases of armed robbery, housebreaking, one chance along the Lugbe Airport Expressway, as well as scavengers, are also of worry to the people.
State committee, we chose our own security. So where I stay is safe, but every other place aside from that estate and some other estate, the only place that is safe in Lugbe is estate. Every other place that is not an estate, everyone is on their own.
There is no security in Lugbe because Babambola, they can just go to anywhere and park any dustbin, from there enter your compound and pick up whatever they see.
The residents appealed to the FCT authorities to look at direct impact in addressing these challenges, just as they called on police authorities to deploy more manpower to complement the ones on ground to provide adequate security. Ilyasu Notu Yakubu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the divisional police officer in charge of Lugbe, Chief Superintendent of Police Ogochukwu Uhegbu, has appealed to residents of the district to furnish the division with information that will aid in proper policing the community. He mailed the appeal while responding to questions on the program called The Police. Again, Ilyasu Notu Yakubu monitored the program and now reports.
Amongst security challenges bedeviling Lugbe area and environs include the menace of Okada riders, one chance, touts, area boys, and petty cases of armed robbery and housebreaking.
Good morning.
Chief Superintendent of Police Ogochukwu Uhegbu said the division, in its determination to realize the mandate of policing the area, has evolved strategies which are yielding desired results.
We have put in the mechanism of engaging them. However, we will not stop AMAC from internally generated revenue, IGR, but the activities cannot be seen to be inflicting on the rights of Nigerians who are commuters or drivers.
Residents who called in on the program asked questions on the police patrol teams on the airport road as they observed that the team does not respond to the activities of touts along the route.
RRS patrol vehicle at that location, ensuring security at that location. But if you are accosted by this, I call them hoodlums, call the police. Sometimes you probably feel they are the AMAC revenue officers.
Okay. The DPO appealed to residents to sustain the working relationship with the division so as to ensure security of all. Ilyasu Notu Yakubu, NTA News.
To other news now, not less than 3 vehicles were involved in a multiple accident at Gudu Junction Wednesday morning, causing chaos and untold hardship to motorists. Correspondent Ojirio Buru Arutere, however, reports that no life was lost.
The accident, which occurred during the morning rush hour at Gudu Junction, eyewitnesses say, was as a result of overspeeding on the part of the driver of the white Lexus, who came from Nepa Junction at top speed and could not slow down before hitting the white Honda Baby Boy in his front. The impacts led to a chain of hits and 3 cars were affected.
He was coming from Nepa, so the car, this Baby Boy was in front of him. I think he had a brake. He was stepping on the brake, couldn't walk, so just hit the car and scratched, I think, 5 cars before he got to this white Honda here.
Overspeeding. So the vehicles, they were colliding with one another. So they finally stopped at this very point.
The next thing we started hearing, boah, boah, car hitting each other. The other one even hit that pavement. Then he now turned and just cover his flat on the ground. The driver that just jumped out from the car started running.
As at the time of the report, Men of the Federal Road Safety Corps were already on ground to evacuate affected vehicles from the road to ease traffic as the Nigerian police escorted the accident victims for questioning.
Now, culture, they say, is a way of life. As such, it provides both social and economic benefits to mankind. In this special report, Hadiza Godwin-Ebune reports that research reveals that culture enhances quality of life and increases overall well-being for both individuals and communities.
According to research, 3/4 of the world's major conflicts are linked in some ways to culture, as lack of understanding of other people's culture. Horrific violence in some nations of the world have been linked to cultural differences.
I should know, just as I've known myself as the Gbagi individual, that's how the Igbo speaking person or the Yoruba speaking individual should be. And we should be able to know ourselves and respect same. It's good that I should get closer to the Hausa speaking individual to learn about his way of life and see the good that I can pick from him or her, add to my own, and the same thing to that other person. Let him also see me as somebody good and with several goodies that he or she will have to learn to add to his or her own value. And by so doing, we will see ourselves growing and the country is also.
The source of exchange, innovation and creativity, cultural diversity is as necessary for humankind as biodiversity is for nature. In this sense, cultural expert says, culture is the common heritage of humanity and should be recognized and affirmed for the benefit of all generations.
Things are this day. It's like culture is being pushed aside, which ought not to be. Culture is identity. Just like we will say language is identity, so also is one's culture. It is an identity.
Experts further say culture determines and guides various activities of man and also as the process through which human beings satisfy their wants. Hadiza Godwin-Ebune, NTA News.
Talking sports now, Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa rejoins Kano Pillars Football Club for the rest of the Nigeria Professional Football League season as the National Sports Festival comes to an end. Cynthia Ogun has more on Sports Brief.
Super Eagles captain Ahmed Musa has completed his move to the Kano Pillars Football Club for the remainder of the 2020/2021 Nigeria Professional Football League season. Musa previously played for Kano side in 2009, where he ended the season as top scorer with 18 goals. Now the Pillars are ready to welcome the former Leicester City and Al Nassr forward, who has been without a club for some time now. Now to the Sports Festival. Day 12 at Edo 2020 witnessed the women's rugby games, women and men boxing finals, presentation of medals for para weightlifting, men and women's table tennis finals, and the much-anticipated golf tournament. Still, it's time to say goodbye to the National Sports Festival tagged Edo 2020 after an exhausting string of events. Team Delta are undoubtedly the best team again with over 300 medals. The host state, Edo, comes in second with Bayelsa in third place. Team FCT dropped to 16th on the daily medals table with a total of 35 medals. Elsewhere, Chelsea reached the Champions League semi-finals for the first time in 7 years after losing 1-0 to Porto but qualified on a 2-1 aggregate. The Blues will now play either Liverpool or Real Madrid in the semi-finals, who will be locking horns tonight in the return leg. PSG also knocked Bayern Munich out of the Champions League on 3 away goals difference despite losing 1-0 at home. The French side will now face either Manchester City or Borussia Dortmund in the semi-finals. With Sports Brief, Cynthia Ogun, NTA News.
And here is a quick reminder. COVID-19 vaccine is free. Please avail yourself the opportunity to be vaccinated. And that concludes the news at 1. Do join us at 7 for more news. Have a good afternoon.